Hi, I'm Brent Johnson, and I'm still in Dubuque, Iowa. We've come to the University of Dubuque, and this is Chuck Barland, your professor of music and the university organist here.
Correct, yes.
And you've been here, how many years did you tell me?
22 years now.
22 years.
Yeah.
So you know this place better than anybody, and you know this organ better than anybody.
Yeah.
Tell me about this instrument.
Well, this instrument is amazing. It's really changed our campus culture, I think, in many ways. It's a teaching instrument, it's a recital instrument, and a practice instrument, so it gets used constantly, almost daily, throughout the day. Students are in here, I'm in here, and many events use the organ on campus.
That's great to hear.
It's wonderful.
And it's only been in since 2021, right?
2020, it finished. I played it for the first time in December of 2020 for commencement, and then they did some fine last-minute kind of voicing and tuning work in the early 2021, and the first official event was in April and May of that year.
So it did get some use during that COVID time.
It did.
Well, we should say it's built by the Dobson Organ Company from here in Iowa, and it's, how many ranks do we have on?
It's 51 ranks.
51 ranks, and it's up there. How do we get up there? That's the next question.
Well, it's kind of a journey to get up there. We don't actually access it from the stage, but we have to go up to the third floor to get there.
Well, I will follow you.
Okay. So from here we're heading backstage from the public area to the private area of the facility, and there's an elevator that will take us to the third floor. Our backstage area is a long hallway. We have dressing rooms and costume shop and scene shop back here for various programs that happen here. We get to the organ through this door here, but I need to stop in my office and get my shoes and music. I usually wear a backpack when I get to the organ because going to the organ, you'll see as we approach the organ that I usually have both arms to hang onto the railing. So we go through this utility room here. And then we exit 3 stories above the stage. The lights are out, but you can get a sense we're 3 stories up. The fly space goes another couple stories above our main stage. And then through this door is where the instrument is. And there's a staircase we'll descend. You can see the height of the instrument goes way above my head, and it's 2 stories below. It's a very tall instrument, and there's some pipes right above us too, 32-foot pipes laying horizontally above the stage. This is the great chamber that's open as I pass by. And then we get to the console level. And then from here, I'll turn the organ on with this key, and I'll step back and just put my shoes on and get ready to demonstrate it.
We've made it up to the console here in the loft. That was quite an adventure getting here.
Yes.
We are way up. So now we're sitting in front of Dobson, Opus 97.
Yes.
This is 3 manuals, but it's Great, Swell, and Solo, correct?
Yes, the Great is the bottom keyboard, and then the Swell in the middle, and the Solo is on top. So for people who are used to 3 manual organs without a solo division, often the Great is the middle manual. We have to remember it's the bottom manual here.
All right, well, let's start with the Great division and tell me what we've got.
So very complete resources on both the Great and the Swell. The facade pipes that we have just above our heads are from the 16 and the 8-foot principals, and they're separate ranks. So the 16-foot principal, again, makes up part of the facade. nice, gentle,
but
but very
full.
supportive bass sound
Nice.
below the ensemble. And then the 8-foot principal,
eights,
again,
okay.
very clear and articulate as you would expect.
Okay.
On the grate there. And then we have a diapason as well, which
separate.
is a nice complement, or you can combine them both to have a very thick foundational sound, but the diapason has this quality to it.
It's not exactly what I was expecting. But
Yeah.
that's nice.
A little lighter,
Yeah,
more
okay.
string character, again, the principal, and then the diapason.
Okay.
Yeah. Our string on the grate is the gamba, and it's, again, very nice complement, and yet it can also stand alone as a gentle accompaniment stop.
Very nice.
And then 2 8-foot flutes. So we have the harmonic flute, more soloistic, beautiful, gorgeous singing quality.
Lovely.
And the chimney flute, a little more of a chiff, articulate kind of response.
Yeah.
And then we can add a 4-foot flute to
So
that,
that's
the
on top
spire
of all
flute.
that wonderful 8-foot you've got. But yeah, we keep
Yes,
going.
we have then the upper works. We have 5 8-foot foundational stops on the grate. The spire flute by itself is, again, a lovely sound. Think of Haydn's musical clocks or something, you know. When we add it to the chimney flute, get a nice ensemble of the 8 and 4-foot flutes. And then we can we have the 12th and a 15th that can be combined with the diapason or the principal, or even gamba and flute combinations.
You can build your principal
It can
chorus
build
off
the
of
principal
whatever
chorus.
you start
So
with.
if I play, kind of start with a hymn with just the 8-foot here. Add the 4-foot to that. Go up to the 12th. Can add the 2-foot on top of that. We'll add the first mixture. This is a 4-rank mixture here. And then another mixture 3-rank here. We'll add the 16-foot underneath all of that.
A lot of color and brightness coming in, and you can mix and match any of those that you want.
And
to
sometimes if I'm going to have both mixtures, I might want more than just the 8-foot principal underneath it. It might be a little too top heavy.
You've got them there to add. If
We
you
got
need to.
more 8-foots to add if we want them, yeah.
Okay.
And then beyond that, we have a chorus reed, 16, 8, and 4, which all manuals have on this organ. So we have the posauna on the grate, very gentle but bold 16-foot reed.
German 16 sound
Yes,
there. Very
yes,
nice.
very Germanic. And then the trumpet as well, the 8-foot trumpet. And a 4-foot clarion on top of that. So when you put those 3 ranks together, it's really quite a nice ensemble.
it's a lot of power,
Power,
but it's not overbearing.
not
or
overbearing at all, but it
Yeah.
really sounds nice in the room.
color. Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then where should we go next from then?
Let's go up to the swell.
Okay.
And on the swell division, as you might expect, we don't have a 16-foot principal. That's for the great, but we have a 16-foot Borden, which is very gentle. But yet, if you add it with an ensemble, you'll hear that bass sound. Very, very nice, gentle 16-foot flute. And then the viola is our string on the swell. And the diapason, one of my favorite ranks on the whole organ, this gentle diapason on the swell.
That's a lovely diapason color there.
Beautiful, beautiful, yeah. The Borden 8-foot, again, very nice, light flute. So that's actually the third 8-foot flute we've heard on this organ now, with the two on the grate as well.
That one's a metal capped flute, I believe.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And then again, that's our foundational 8-foots. Then we have the corresponding upper work that goes with that. Here's the Borden with the flute octaviant. And we can add the 2-foot octavon to that. Nice, gentle, but present sound. And that 2-foot is voiced in such a way that it can double with the principal chorus, so the 8 and 4-foot diapason and octave. And adding the 2-foot on top of that.
Bright enough to work with either.
It really is, yeah. And it's a nice complement to the great if you're doing an echo piece. And then we have the mutation stops for the cornet, so we can have the 8-foot flute with the 4-foot flute, and then the 2 2/3. Which can be a nice solo sound all by itself, and then you can combine that with the 2 or the 1 3/5, the 2-foot with the 8 4 and 2 2/3. And then the final crown on the cornet, the 1 3/5.
Lovely.
It is, yeah. It's wonderful, wonderful soloistic option there. And again, you can play around with those 5 ranks to get different colors, subtle different colors. We also have a 4-rank mixture, which again is I think just really perfectly complementing the 8 4 and 2 underneath it. 8-foot, 4-foot, 2-foot mixture.
It's a very nice chorus there.
Nice chorus on the swell as well. And then, of course, I mentioned we had chorus reeds on both manuals. So we have a 16-foot bombard on the swell, which when at first I saw the name bombard, I thought, well, this is going to be pretty potent. But really, it's quite gentle.
Yeah.
And we do have a separate bombard on the pedal, which is much more aggressive. But this bombard is fairly gentle, and the trompette as well. So it's both a little more French in character and
Still pretty gentle.
Gentle, pretty gentle. And we have the clairon here. And so when you put those 3 together, again, a nice ensemble.
Okay. And I'm imagining, because those are above our head,
Yes.
the grate is down here in front of us,
Yes.
that maybe it's going out into the room a little more.
A little bit more, yeah,
that's
than
just
what
my
we're
guess.
hearing right above us. A lot of it's going over our head.
Okay.
Yep. And then we do have a couple of other stops, as you know, a very useful stop, basically the oboe stop. It's basson au bois on this organ, and again, very gentle. And a vox human.
Okay.
So very nice there. I did leave out one rank here. I'd say that for last is the Celeste.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have two different Celestes on this organ. The Swell Celeste, again, just very gentle.
Yeah,
So-
very nice.
It really it does very, very well. And both the, I should have mentioned, the grate on this organ is under expression,
was
which
gonna
is
say,
unusual.
It's different from
And because I tell my students, we really have a two-manual organ with a third manual of very special colors, but not necessarily an ensemble that we can create up there as well. And so the grate, with being under expression, can become a choir or positive division.
right.
And again, we have the two diapason and principal to play with, the two mixtures. So you can have different 4-foot combinations, close the box a little bit, and really get the effect of a completely different manual.
I think it's an amazing design to be
It
able to
is. Now, of
add
course,
that to it.
you know, the facade pipes are not under expression, but everything else is. So the only thing I caution my students when you're registering and you expect to close the grate, you can't have the 8-foot principal and 16-foot principal on unless you're above middle C. If you're below middle C, those pipes are what we see in the facade.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go up to the solo.
Let's
then
go
and
up
talk
to the
about it.
solo, yeah, which is just
Very top of
wonderful.
the
One of
organ.
the things about this organ is, since we're not in a church, we're at a school, the University of Dubuque. This organ needs to play academic ceremonies, also play with orchestra sometimes. At Christmas, I play with our concert band, and sometimes accompany the choir, or maybe we do a piece all together with as many forces as we can combine into a grand piece. And so organs like that sometimes have to have stops that church organs always don't have. And so we have a big English tuba on the solo, and that would be one of those stops, which you probably wouldn't find on too many church organs. It might be the biggest stop. All of the wind pressure for the grate and the swell is 3.5 inches.
Okay.
Now, up here on the solo, for these big reeds, we're getting 15 inches of wind.
Wow. That's quite a
So
jump.
it's a big jump up. This is the tuba on the solo.
Okay.
So very again, doesn't peel your hair
Yeah, but
back, but
it's
it's
cuts
very
through.
present. Now I'm told by the organ tuners, by the Dobson folks, if you're up there working, you have to have earplugs.
That's-
But
yeah.
down here, it's much more tolerable and beautiful and wonderful. We have then a 16-foot trombone, an 8-foot ophicleide, and a 4-foot tuba clarion. Those are all the same rank.
Okay.
So we say we have a 16-foot trombone with an extended 8 and 4.
Okay.
Here's the trombone. And again, that's on 15 inches of wind. And then the ophicleide by itself.
Okay.
And then the 4-foot tuba clarion. So you play those together.
Yeah, very cutting
lot-
through.
yeah,
Without
yeah.
being, again, not parting your hair, but
No.
it's a good,
And
good
I've had
sound.
fun experimenting. Like I played the C.S. Lang tuba tune, and
Oh, yeah.
because we have a tuba. But I thought on the repeats, I want to change and do something different. So I alternated between the tuba and the ophicleide, and it really, I thought, came off very well. That was the tuba, the ophicleide. So both are big, but the ophicleide's a little bit less, and so a nice maybe
and you can
echo
couple
on the repeat.
You can couple the solo to either manual, so
Yes,
if you
the
want to
solo-
combine it with something else.
The solo can be coupled to
Okay.
the swell or the grate. Yes,
All right.
absolutely. We have 4 other ranks on the solo, And they are on 6 inches of wind. So again, much more than the 3.5 on the other manuals, but less than the 15 on the biggest reed. So this is our gamba on the solo. And just to compare that with the great again, the gamba on the great, and then the solo.
Okay.
So a little difference there. We also have a wonderful celeste that goes with that, and this is just fantastic. It's big, but you can close the solo down, and it's very effective. It'll quiet it significantly.
Okay.
So again, there's a lot of control over what we have sounding.
Yeah.
I've had several guest organists here, and one of the favorite stops they say they want to take home is this major flute. It is very unique because you don't think of flutes as big, but this flute is very wide scaled and a beautiful solo sound.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It really works very well. And then the clarinet on the solo as well. And I've combined the gamba with the clarinet or the major flute and getting different combinations of sounds. But the clarinet, even by itself, is just fantastic. Fantastic option to have.
Well, and as I don't think we mentioned, this is all mechanical key action, all going up in a stack here above the console. So as we go to the pedal, though, we go to the only electric part of the organ because it's on the other side of the room.
Some of the pedal is. So this pedal, as Dobson described it, it's sort of inspired by a Skinner idea of what they call augmentation. So the pedal is a combination of independent ranks, ranks that are independent but also have several extensions within the rank, and then there's borrowed ranks from the manuals that are also playable in the pedal without the coupler. So we get what looks like and really acts like a very full, rich pedal division, but the actual number of independent pipes is less than the great and the swell.
I see.
So we do have you would find not on many church organs, 3 independent 32-foot ranks in the pedals. So we have that here, but again, in an auditorium and with symphony orchestra and things like that, you use those kinds of extreme tessituras. So here's the contradiapason, which is actually above our heads now and above the stage. We can't see it from here. There's acoustical clouds, and they're above that. And so this is what the diapason, contradiapason 32. Got to play the lowest note just to get an idea. But it's very gentle, but again, with a full organ, you certainly can feel it or hear it because of the extreme low range that it has. This is the contrabordin. And again, comparing that to the diapason. And then the bordin. They're both
and the bordin's up there too, and then
they're up there together. And then so the contradiapason has also the open bass and the bass flute and the 4-foot flute. So those all are the same rank, and I can build it up. Here's the middle or bass C, and then the 16-foot and the bass flute and the 4-foot flute. And then the contrabordin, as you might expect, the bordin 16 is part of that rank. So here's the 32-foot, and then with the 16, and then a gedeckt 8. They're all part of that rank.
Interesting.
And then I mentioned we have borrowed ranks. So the principal 16 is the principal 16 from the great, also playable in the pedal.
Nice.
As well as that's actually it for the foundations. Independent sounds on this this pedal division are the octave 16, which is is actually from
in here,
in this side of the organ. And then the 8-foot octave with it. And the 4-foot octave, those are all independent ranks. So those are not extensions of each other, independent. And then we have, let's see, then we get to the reeds, I guess. Yeah. And there are, again, great variety of reeds. We have the Contrabombard 32, which is a fun stop to just play for students when they're in here for a demonstration, or, you'll hear it in some of the repertoire on this episode too. It's just a present sound, but I tell people it sounds like a jackhammer. And that is coming from the other side of the stage. Yeah.
All right.
And then that also has extension. So we have a 16-foot bombard that's part of that rank. And so with the 32-foot and 16, those two act together. Okay. The trombone is from the solo, same as the solo. The posauna is from the great. So we do have 3 16-foot reeds. Okay. They're either an extension of the 32 or borrowed from the 2 manuals, the solo and the great. And then the trumpet, 8-foot in the pedal, is from the great, as well as the clarion, all from the great. And then the tuba is from the solo as well. And then all the manuals, of course, can be coupled to the pedal.
Okay, so they've done a lot there by some creative borrowing and creative extensions, but nothing out of the ordinary really at the same time. So this is a remarkable instrument, and it must just be fun to teach on. And
it's wonderful. We do have some maybe unusual things, but I think they're more and more common now. We have an all swells to swell, so we can control all 3 divisions with the middle expression pedal, just the swell, but that controls all 3 at the same time. We have a Zimbelstern, which is a fun thing, and I asked for that on the organ, but I didn't really ask for a star that spins on the outside. And our donors were touring the Dobson shop and saw what was a Zimbelstern star for another organ, and they said, "What's that?" And the folks at Dobson explained what it was, and the donors, "Can we get that on our organ?" And of course they said, "Well, sure." So that was really the donors that had the star, and only because they happened to see it at the shop. And I'm so glad they did, because again, that's a wonderful visual. We have lots of elementary school kids that come in here for events, and they love to see that spinning star, and even the college students and everyone's sort of like, "Whoa, looks really nice." Even
more than a church organ, you have the opportunity here to introduce the organ to people who've never really.
And that's one of the missions when we built this organ. The president, we wanted organ students to study the organ, but we also wanted just all of our students to experience the organ. And so he kind of said, "When I sit in the seat, will I feel vibrations?" And they said, "Well, that's our hope. That's what we're building. That you would kind of have this 4D experience of feeling the sound as well as hearing it."
I think you've done it.
So we have a lot of students that just are very inspired and awed by this organ, who don't play any instruments or really know much about music, but they hear this organ and experience it, and they really are very excited and curious about it. So that's another great benefit of what we've been able to do here and the population that comes in this building.
From the console, we walk back and there's a door that lets us into the area directly behind the console. We can see regulators for the grate, and there is the backside of the keyboards, the coupler stack. Down here we have the trackers. The roller board for the pedal is on the floor underneath. The manual trackers go up. There's a walkboard there that takes us across to the other side. From here, if we walk a little farther back, there's another door, and now we're behind the roller board for the grate and other trackers going up. The trackers split to the left and the right for the Swell and the Solo. I believe the left side is the Swell trackers, and the right side goes all the way up to the Solo division. And continuing on through, there's another little space back there where there are some pedal pipes. It's easier to get to if you go over the walkboard in the front, but that's what we can see from here. Looking back towards the door we came in, and we can see on this back wall, fuses and combination action and relays are all back here. Now we're going to go out and continue up the stairs, and this grate division is right here, right above us. There's the stairs we came in on, and there's some of the trackers going up. The grate pipes are all here in front of us. The mixture of the reeds here at the back. You can see the expression shades in the front and a door for accessing the facade pipes. Back here we can see chests that have some of the pedal pipes, upper end of the independent pedal stops. Now there's a ladder that we can go up through a hatch to the chamber above, but we can also just take the stairs. And indeed we've taken the stairs up, and now we are walking into the Swell chamber. Some of those pipes are located beneath us and speak into this chamber. There are the trackers going to the Solo above us. That's the roller board for that chest. And here are the Swell pipes. We have our mixture and reeds here in front. Some pipes actually attached to the ceiling. And another door to get to the facade pipes. Stopped metal flute down there. And some pipes that speak from the outside into the chamber. There's a ladder right here, and that takes us to a hatch that we do have to take this time to get up into the Solo division, and here we are. There's all the reeds on the left. I believe the big tuba is at the back. And then the unified rank is here at the front. And then on this side we have the lower pressure chest with the flute pipes, our major flute and the string and celeste. And back in the back we see those high pressure regulators with all the extra springs on them. And so again, now we're going to take a ladder up through the hatch, and now we are standing on top of the organ, on top of the Solo division. We can see out over the fly space of the entire auditorium. Those are the clouds he referred to earlier, and here's the 32-foot diapason. And then the 32-foot Borden here on its side. With the higher pipe standing in front. All tubed off of this wind chest. From here we can look back and see the rest of the organ. Gonna have to lean out over the rail, see the Solo box. And from here we can look down at the facade and get a view not many people get. Now from the other side of the hall, there's another little platform. And back here we have the 32-foot reed. It's a little dark back here, unfortunately. The full-length 32s are here against the wall. And then you can see there's an upper chest, and up there we have treble ends of the pedal open. as well as the treble of the 32-foot reed. Well, Chuck, thank you so much for demonstrating, letting us come in today and this afternoon and getting a quick look at the Dobson Opus 97. I saw this organ going in on online on Facebook. It was during COVID that they were building it, so it was exciting to finally get to see it. This organ was built in the old Dobson shop, correct?
Correct. Yes. So they had a devastating fire, as you know, in 2021, but this was completed in their shop that was pre-fire, and it was one of the last organs to survive that fire that really destroyed everything they had inside. This organ was put in. We had the dedication with Alan Morrison here in an orchestra on stage in May of 2021. Exactly 1 month later, the fire happened.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, they were already installing Opus 98 in Chatham, Massachusetts at an Episcopal church. So that survived, and thankfully, all the tools and equipment that they had for that installation were with them and not in the building when the fire occurred.
Wow.
But the Opus 99 organ, which is now finished in Australia at St. James Church in Sydney, that was destroyed. And I don't know how far along they were in the process, but what they had worked on was destroyed. But thanks to the perseverance of the company and also the patience of St. James parishioners and committee, they said, we want to wait and let's start again, and they did, and I think they have a marvelous instrument now over there.
Well, we don't have any plans to go to Australia anytime soon unless some donors want to help us get there, but we might be able to pop over to Lake City, Iowa and see their new shop, I hope later this year when Dobson
they will be having an open house, I think, in the fall, and are excited to welcome the public back in.
So hopefully we'll get a look at that. But in the meantime, thank you again. This has been wonderful to see this instrument. I'm so glad it made it here and is influencing so many people that maybe didn't even know they liked organ music. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, please go down and give us a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to our channel down there, and there are links in the description to the University of Dubuque where you can find out more information about them, the school, the organ, the music school. If you have any interest in coming here and seeing the organ, he's the guy to talk to. So you can find some information down there. You can also find a link to our website, organ.media, where you can become a sponsor and help us get to great places like Dubuque and to see instruments like these and to meet people like Chuck. So if you'd like to help us make more videos, you can go to organ.media, and there's a new way to donate right there on the front page. We still have a few more sites from this part of the country coming out, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel and click the bell to get notifications. Until those next videos are out, though, remember you can always find streaming classical organ music on our 3 stations, organlive.com, Positively Baroque, and The Organ Experience. Thank you again, Chuck. This has been a joy to sit and hear you play it, and I hope to come back and hear some concerts.
Glad to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Brent Johnson. Until next time, thanks for watching.